Hello and welcome to another Rust Locker video. Today I'm working on the MX5 again. I'm going to be doing a 4-corner refresh, which is going to involve new brake discs and pads all round. I'm also going to be curing as much rust as I can from the suspension components, painting them to protect them for the future. Also do a bit of undersealing and sorting out the rust on the arches a little bit, or the inner arches. In this video I'm going to be working on the rears, and in a coming video I'm going to be doing the fronts. Hope you're in the mood to watch someone get down and dirty, because I've got a lot of rust to deal with. Okay, so look at the state of this under here. It's pretty bad. Got the splash guard rusting to pieces, brake disc pitted, scored, rusty, springs rusty, suspension components rusty, brake calipers rusty, arches rusty. I think first things first is to give it a good clean under here, and so we can tell the difference between rust and mud, and see where we're at. Okay, so what I'm trying to do now is get the brake caliper off and get the disc off to replace those, and also that's going to free up a bit more room so that I can wire brush some more of the components back here. Okay, so after quite a while of scrubbing and wire wheeling and wire brushing, this is what we're left with. Something that actually does resemble strong metal. I've ended up removing quite a fair bit from the inner arch here, which is worrying. I think the inner skin might be gone, but I'll protect that for now and worry about that later. What we're working on today obviously is stopping the rust as much as we can, so I think what I'm going to do is hit this up with Kurust now, and try and get a lot of these components strong again before I then paint them and then fit the brakes. But just to give you an idea of how much loose rust I've taken off of here, check this out. That is all the stuff that's come off, well, apart from that, all the stuff that's come off of these suspension components and the arch. So yeah, weight reduction, bro. Right, so I've given it a hose out just to get rid of the last bits of flaky rust that were stuck in the gaps. So now I'm going to start hitting it with the Kurust. So as you can see, the Kurust is working its magic and turning all that rust back into black. I'll probably give it another coat, I think, in a minute, just to make sure that everywhere's got some. But while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm starting to take out the brake pads from the calipers and try and sand down these rusty buggers a bit as well. And then I'll be Kurusting these and painting those at some point. I don't know if I'll get around to painting them today, but certainly going to be changing the brakes and painting up a few bits and pieces behind here anyway. So while this does its magical stuff, I will crack on sanding down the caliper. The Kurust has almost cured the rust, and we are looking a lot more black than we are brown, which is always a good thing. I'm pretty much running out of time today. I've literally only done this and it's taken almost all day. Right, so it's the next day now, and yesterday I Kurusted all of the suspension components under the arches. Today I have been busy painting. I didn't bother filming it because I didn't really think we'd want to watch paint dry. So I'm going to show you what the situation is now and how far I've got. Okay, so what I have done is, after the Kurust, I primered it with some zinc primer and then painted it with some Hammerite satin black paint. So all of the suspension components, the arms, anti-roll bar, some of the coilover shocks and stuff, everything I could get to has basically been primered and painted. I've sprayed in some spray paint into these areas that I couldn't quite get to with a brush. I've also wax oiled all of the arch with some like stone chip underbody seal. So this is all like solid now, which is good. Next thing is going to be to fit the brakes, new brake pads, new brake discs onto these rears, and then we can get the wheels back on and then move on to the front. Right, so I've got to a certain point taking the brakes apart, and it's becoming apparent how rusty and seized the calipers and the internals of the calipers actually are. So what I've done is I've called my mechanic mate Chris. He's going to come down and help me out because he's got the tools to get rusty bolts out. He's got a bolt buster. I don't know if you know what a bolt buster is, but it's like a big battery with a coil on the end. He puts it over bolts, it heats it up to like 7 million degrees or something, and the bolts come out like butter. So when he gets here, I'm going to film a little bit of him working. I don't know if he'll like me filming him, but I'm sure he won't be too bothered. But anyway, I'm going to pick up the video in a minute when Chris gets here, and then we're going to be working on the brakes.
Look at that. This bolt buster.
Yeah.
Okay. Which allows us to undo the nut, free off the caliper. The wrong. Just push the cylinder back. Because normally they wind back, but this isn't a wind back one. It's just a push back a little bit.
Right.
So let's see if it pushes back. That's slipping off the thing all the time. It's not the right tool for the job, of course. What do I use? Drink your coffee as well. A little bit of coffee grease on here. It's cleaned up quite nice. Cleaned this up yourself, did you?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's great.
Didn't know whether to bother painting that or just leave it
Nah,
there.
no, composite on there would be enough.
Yeah.
So I needed this on here so I could undo that bloody nut.
Right.
I don't need it on here now to get the disc on. We'd love to see you to take that axle out. Probably the second of the brake pedal, as I say.
Yeah.
When I say just pump it up and down a couple of times, then hold it down. Pump it down.
Yeah.
And up and again. Keep pumping it a few more times. Okay, hold it down.
Yeah.
The brake pedal now.
Yeah. Yeah, much tighter. Okay, so the rears are all done. New brake discs, new pads, cure rusted, painted, all good. Whilst Chris was working on the brakes, we did actually come across an issue where the handbrake on one side wasn't holding the wheel tight. One side locks up fine with the handbrake on, the other side not so good. The only thing we can put that down to is that the internals of the caliper might be buggered, so going to be needing to replace a caliper at some point. I might as well get both of them if I'm going to do them, but that'll be coming in a future video. Also in a future video we're going to be doing the fronts and whatever problems might arise from those as well. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Leave us a like if you did, and a comment down below if you want any more information, and please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. So yeah, catch you on the next one.